6:06 p.m. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending this meeting. This CPOC Commissioners meeting is hereby called to order. The time is 6:06 p.m. My name is Hassan Bennett. I am the interim chair of the Citizens Police Oversight Commission, and I will be facilitating this evening's meeting. This public meeting of the Citizens Police Oversight Commission was properly advertised pursuant to the Pennsylvania Sunshine Act. And with that being said, I will now call roll. Commissioners, when I say your name, please acknowledge you are present by saying here or present. Commissioner Melanie DeBose.
Present.
Good evening, Commissioner. Commissioner Malika Rockman.
Present.
Good evening, Commissioner. Commissioner John Solomon. Is Commissioner Solomon in the queue or anything? Do we see anything for Commissioner Solomon, Attorney Twig?
No, I do not, Chair.
Commissioner Solomon is absent, unexcused. Commissioner Michelle Enix Kenny. Hopefully I pronounced it right.
You did. Thank you so much, Chair. Commissioner Michelle Enix Kenny is present.
Good evening, Commissioner. Commissioner Gilberto Gonzalez.
Present. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioner. Commissioner Erica Stewart. Attorney Twig.
I did not see Commissioner Erica Stewart on the meeting tonight.
Commissioner Stewart is absent, unexcused. Commissioner Latanya Whitehead.
Present. Hello.
Good evening, Commissioner. Commissioner Hakeem P.A.
Present.
Commissioner PA is present. And with that being said, Commissioner Whitehead is having technical difficulties. So if you cannot see Commissioner Whitehead as she is speaking, understand that, yes, she's having difficulties. Commissioner Solomon is now present. Good evening,
yes, I am present. Good evening.
Good evening. So with that said, we have 8 out of the 9 commissioners present. We have a quorum. And with that, I will now pass the meeting off for the commission business.
Chair, may I suggest that the commission conducts business at the beginning of the meeting tonight before the agency report?
Did everyone get a chance? Thank you, Attorney Twig. Did everyone get a chance to approve the review the minutes?
Yes,
For
Commissioner
tonight's
Solomon
agenda.
here.
Commissioner, do I have a motion to approve tonight's meeting agenda?
I move for the approval of tonight's agenda.
Does anyone second that motion? Hold on, that is Commissioner Melanie DeBose motioning to approve tonight's agenda. Does anyone second that motion?
This is Commissioner Whitehead. I second that motion.
Commissioner Whitehead seconds the motion. All in favor of approving tonight's agenda, say aye.
Aye.
And with that, all not in favor of approving tonight's agenda, say nay. And with that, the ayes have it. Public notice that the board held a virtual session on May 21st, 2025, that is this year, at 5 p.m. to receive legal advice. And with that, I will hand it over for agency business.
Good evening, commissioners and members of the community. Tonight, you will be receiving CPOC's agency report. If we could go to the first slide. The Citizens Police Oversight Commission's mission is to oversee and investigate the conduct, policies, and practices of the Philadelphia Police Department. CPOC currently reviews complaints of police misconduct, audits, and monitors internal affairs investigations and police disciplinary processes. CPOC staff sits and votes on PBI panels at police discipline hearings. CPOC also conducts oversight of police shootings, analyzes police data, develops policy recommendations and reports, and engages in outreach and training. So why is civilian oversight necessary? It protects human rights, promotes constitutional policing, increases public confidence and trust in the police, builds bridges between law enforcement and the public, and supports effective policing, ensures greater accountability, and enhances risk management. And I want to just highlight, because you will be hearing from the Outreach Division this evening, but one of the ways that CPOC bridges the gap between law enforcement and the public is to actually host events with them. So we will be talking about some public events that we have done in the month of May to talk about our collaboration. And I think that people seeing the police department and the oversight agency doing things together is really important. And that's one of the ways that we bridge law enforcement. I think there's a lot of confusion at times about, are we anti-police? And we are not anti-police. We are pro-constitutional policing. And so one of the ways that we demonstrate that to the community, which builds trust, is by actually doing some events with our law enforcement community. Next slide, please. So in my executive director report, we're going to talk about some of those events and that we're very proud of. And so one of the events that we did this month was honoring the past and shaping the future. It was a candlelight vigil in support of and in remembrance of the death of George Floyd, which I know a lot of us can't believe that it has been 5 years since George Floyd was murdered. And so one of the things that's really was important to me this year was to try to do some different things. So this is the first time CPOC has tried to do a candlelight vigil, and I'm excited about that. Our outreach team is so creative in many ways, but this was something I wanted us to try, and I think it was successful. I was very excited about our commissioners coming out. We had 3 of our commissioners come out and 2 were on the program. And so I really am grateful and looking forward to seeing the fruits that Commissioner Rockmont is going to bring us, because she is former law enforcement. So she comes with that expertise and comes with that, but also is a community activist in her own right. And so it bridges that gap. And so I was so excited that she actually came. She opened up the event and actually helped set the tone for, this is one of the events where I think helped set the tone in terms of bridging the community and the police and law enforcement. And so I really want to thank her for that. And then on the bookend, we actually had Commissioner Michelle Enix-Kenny come up and close us out with prayer for peace and togetherness. So I really want to thank our 2 commissioners for kind of the bookends, Commissioner Rockmont for helping to set the tone, and Commissioner Enix-Kenny for actually closing us out and ushering and calling us to peace through prayer. And I also want to appreciate Council Member Solomon. I said Council Member, Commissioner Member Solomon.
No, not yet.
And supported. So you will see the pictures here. I was also excited that one of our council members, Councilmember Ahmad, came out and talked about, she remembered being at a protest with her daughter. in 2020 and about how she felt like the work of CPOC was crucial into the things that we were doing. So I just really want to say thank you for that. And another remembrance that we had was for those of you that are Philadelphians, I think most of the community knows now, I did live in Philly for a long time, and now I'm back, but I was not here. And those of us that are old enough to remember is the bombing of Move and the Move house and the family. And this was the 40th anniversary. So I know some people aren't even 40 years old yet, so they don't remember this, but for those of us that are older enough to remember, and even the ones that aren't, we feel the impact still. And so this year we wanted to honor and remember the 40th anniversary of the Move bombing. And I was so grateful that Mike Africa Jr., who was a little boy, I think he was 5 or 6 years old when this happened, came and talked about that. And so it was a phenomenal program. And also two historic journalists came out and joined us. And so Lynn Washington and also Larry Eichel, who literally covered these events at the time that they were happening. So they were able to come and give us reflection. And so Commissioner Whitehead was able to greet us on behalf of the commission. So I'm grateful to her. And then we were also joined with a council member at that event. Council member Jamie Gautier came and greeted us. Move is in her district. And she came and talked to us about the impact of what CPOC was doing. And I was so grateful. This is literally our new deputy director, Uware Osayande, literally his first day on the job. And on his very first day on the job, he is the one that moderated the discussions between our journalists and with Mike Africa. So you're talking about jumping in and getting your feet wet. So his very first day on the job, and he did a phenomenal job. And you all met him last month. And so you know he's had 30 plus years of organizing and working in Philly, and so was able to make personal connections to the Africa family to be able to have them come out and speak with us. And so with that, I will stop and turn it back over to the chair to see if anybody has any questions about those two specific events. You'll hear about more events that we did in May, but these are the two that were kind of spearheaded out of my office.
Does any commissioner have a comment or question for our executive director? With that, I'll hand the meeting back over to our executive director, Tanya McClellan.
To the next slide. So I also want to talk about a phenomenal opportunity that helped bring our new commissioners along. And I'm so excited about this in terms of one of the things that Oversight does, and I say it can be as big or as small as you make it, is to figure out ways where it makes sense for an oversight office to weigh in. And so Catherine Twigg, our general counsel, Layla Khalil, who is our government affairs officer, and myself were able to go to NYU just like this past week. I'm just blurring all together because this happened. So last week, and attended a conference on advancing the field of alternative policing. So these are agencies all across the country that respond in addition to, in some places, the police, and some respond instead of the police, and some respond to the police. And so here in Philadelphia, this is a complicated system for us because the Philadelphia Police Department has a crisis team. So when people call 911, they have a team that can be dispatched. But when people call 988, which I think a lot of people don't even know that exists, when they call 988, they can get a response from an agency that's not the Philadelphia Police Department in terms of a crisis. And so this was really interesting. And I'm looking forward to exchanging some ideas with some of the folks to see is there a role for CPOC in this? is there, if not an actual role of being the ones to be dispatched, but actually a role, perhaps of just sitting at the table to think through the best ways that we can have alternative responses. So I want to give you an example, a couple of examples of alternative response. So here in Philadelphia, the team is law enforcement. In other places, the team might be somebody from the police department along with somebody from like the fire department, for example, an EMT and a social worker. In other places, it's just everybody but the police. So the social workers will respond with an EMT in case somebody's in a physical crisis, et cetera. And so models vary across the state. One of the models that I was really curious about was this model about field mediation. And our new commissioners may not know this, and a lot of the community doesn't know this. CPOC can help to do mediations between you and the police for for low-level kind of offenses. And so to date, we haven't had any mediations, but we're going to be working on beefing up that program. Right now, it's very narrow because of an executive order. But we want to really beef up our mediation program. And so I was really intrigued about, these are teams of people that literally, when you come out and need a response from somebody other than the police. So one of the examples is, you know, a mom and a daughter are getting into it, right, verbal. And the daughter doesn't like what mama did and snatched the phone from her hand. You will be surprised at what people call 911 for. Right? Anything from that, like a dispute between parents and the children, to the dog barking too loud next door, all of these things, right? Where do you really need somebody with a gun to come and handle this situation? And so in this particular city, they're saying, okay, in those moments where we don't need law enforcement, we're going to dispatch field mediators that will come and actually mediate between the parties involved. And so I was very intrigued by that. And so just trying to think it through. And so just trying to figure out if there's a role for CPOC in this conversation or in the action of alternative response in addition to conversations. So Catherine, Layla, and I had a great time, met a lot of colleagues. There were actually a lot of people there from Philadelphia, the people that are doing this response right now. And we brought back a lot of good information. And I'm looking forward to sharing that with the commission and having some discussions around it, as well as some of our partners here on the ground. So with that, I will turn it back over to the chair to see if anybody has questions.
Thank you, Tanya. Does any of the commissioners have questions and comments regarding the NYU presentation and possibilities
I
and
just have a comment
alternative
about,
policing?
yeah, I have a comment about the mediation. Just I'll share the information on the chat. We have someone amazing in Philadelphia who actually does that mediation between police and the community. And I'll just share that in the link so people can know. Her name is Andrea Loftus Sanders.
Thank you. Do any other commissioners have questions? So stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned.
Thank you, Gilberto, Commissioner Gilberto.
You got it, man. Thanks.
All right, next slide, please. So I'm going to turn it over to my government affairs director.
Tanya, I have to apologize. This was my error. This slide is here from last month, and I intended to delete it because you can see the budget season has closed. That was my mistake.
Well, why don't we just leave it here? Let me give the commissioner an update on budget season. So with our budget season, we, I think the commission knows, asked for additional funding. We asked for an additional funding for our office. And so what I want to say is that we had a victory. We didn't have a full victory, but we had a partial victory. So the glass is half full. We had asked for some of our funds. I just want to be technical for a moment, just so the commission and the public understand. So when you work for the city, they put your budget in certain what they call class codes. So, you know, this is the code you use for copying. This is the code you use to pay payroll. So we have what's called Class 200, and in that group of funding is stuff like consultants and other things. And so we had a lot of money in that we normally don't spend every year because we're not going to be spending, you know, all this, $800,000 on consultants and things of that nature. So one of the things that council can approve, the mayor can approve, is for you to move your funds. So we asked city council and the mayor to allow us to move some of our funding over to our class 100, which is where the payroll comes from for staff members. In addition to that, we did ask for an additional $730,000. And so what has come out so far is that we will be getting the move of the money from 200 to 100 permanently, which I'm excited about because it's going to permanently be put into our budget line for staff. And so we will be able to hire some more people. But unfortunately, we didn't get the additional funding of $730,000. So I want to thank the council and the mayor for that permanent move. And of course, we will still continue to show ourselves approved and to show all the good work that we're doing in the hope that they actually give us additional funding in our budget. So like I said, I want to look at that as the glass half full because we've never in the history, apparently, of CPOC since it's been an organization, been able to get council and the mayor to approve a permanent move of our funding from 200 to 100. So it is still a victory for us. I think it's showing that council and the mayor are having further faith in the work that we're doing. And so we do want to thank them. And hopefully when we ask for more money, be able to get the additional funds as well. So I'll see if I turn it back over to the chair to see if anybody has questions about that.
Does any commissioner have questions regarding am I froze?
No, you're
Hello?
not froze.
All right. Does anyone have questions regarding the budget and the transfer of funds?
I do not.
This is Commissioner DeBose. Just as a point of clarity, does that mean that this upcoming fiscal year's budget will be the same as last year, and we will be able to move from class 200 to class 100?
Yes. So our budget remained flat. We've just been able to move, as Commissioner DeBose said, we've been able to move some of our budgets from one class to another, but the actual budget itself remained flat.
Thank you.
McClary, floor is now yours.
Okay, thank you. Can we go to the next slide? Great. So I'm going to turn it over now to Jeff Hassan, who is our one of the members of our investigative team, who's going to come and talk to you all this month about officer-involved shootings. So Jeff, I'm turning it over to you.
All right, thank you, Tanya. Good evening, commissioners. I hope everyone's doing well. So talk about the investigations division and police shootings. And there was one police shooting at a person in the month of May. CPOC keeps track of all police shootings, which includes every time that a PPD officer discharges their firearm at a person or an animal, but that excludes deer. In 2025 so far, there have been 6 police shootings at people. And CPOC maintains a website to update the public about these police shootings shortly after they occur. And it's in the chat now, the link to that. And the website provides an overview of PPD procedures, CPOC's role, and the details about the police shootings at people. So we'll talk about the one shooting that happened in the month of May. On May 21st, 2025, approximately 6:40 p.m., two PPD officers were working uniform patrol in the 25th district. They saw a man later identified as Bruce Angel Garcia in the area of Front Street and Somerset Streets. Officers attempted to conduct a stop of Mr. Garcia, who then fled the area on foot. Officers chased him to Front Street and Mutter Streets, where Mr. Garcia and the officers struggled and got into a physical altercation. Reportedly, during the struggle, Mr. Garcia retrieved a handgun from a bag and discharged it. And then officers then fired at Mr. Garcia, striking him, and he was transported to Temple Hospital and pronounced at Temple Hospital. Go to the next slide. This is about a 3-minute clip from ABC News, or ABC 6.
Now at 10, one man has died after an officer-involved shooting. 2 Philadelphia police officers have been placed on administrative duty pending the outcome of an investigation. Wednesday night, I'm Shari Williams. Gray has the night off. The big story on Action News tonight is breaking news at this hour in the city's Fairhill neighborhood. A man was shot and killed by officers after a scuffle, according to police. Authorities say 2 officers tried to stop a pedestrian along Mutter and Somerset Streets around 6:30 this evening, when then a tussle began. Authorities say that's when the male suspect reached for a gun in his bag, which did discharge. That's when both officers fired their weapons, striking this person in the stomach. Action News reporter Brianna Gallagher just received an update from investigators. She joins us now live at police headquarters with the latest. Brianna.
Yeah, Shari, we just spoke with police not too long ago. They say a scuffle began. The male's weapon discharged, then officers, they took out their weapons.
Masher and Somerset. First shots fired.
Shell casings and a large police presence on scene in the Fairhill neighborhood after a deadly police-involved shooting. According to Philadelphia police, just after 6:30, 25th District officers attempted to conduct a pedestrian investigation at Mutter and Somerset. After they approached him, police say a scuffle broke out between the officers and the male on the street.
The male produced a handgun from a bag that he was carrying on his person. At some point during that struggle, when that male produces that handgun, the weapon discharges, at which point our officers discharged their weapon, striking the male in the torso area.
The male was rushed to Temple Hospital, where he was pronounced just before 7 o'clock tonight. Why the officers conducted a pedestrian stop is still under investigation.
The investigation is still very early in the stages. We have a lot to go through. The officers were wearing their body cameras, so that footage will be reviewed as a part of the investigation.
As officials canvass the area for evidence, it's also unclear exactly how many shots were fired.
It's 25th District officers. I mean, we always use the terminology routine, but no day in policing is routine. These officers, they're charged with coming out here and again, keeping the city safe. And a part of that takes them into situations, unfortunately, like this that occur. But, that's what they're out here to do each and every day.
Now we're being told that those officers still need to be questioned. Police said that they're still looking for witnesses in the area and any other cameras that may have captured the incident unfold. Officers did recover a weapon at the scene, and the bag that the man had that gun in. Those 2 officers are placed on administrative leave. We're live outside of Philadelphia Police Headquarters. Brianna Gallagher for Action News at 10 on PHL 17. Shari.
All right, a lot for them to sort through on this one. Okay, Brianna, thanks. Now at 10.
Okay, and some of the other things that the Investigations Division has been working on is monitoring of internal affairs investigations. And some of the examples of those things that we're working on currently are complaints alleging violations of the 4th Amendment, which is, go ahead. Somebody have a question? Oh, okay, sorry. So like I said, we're monitoring complaints of alleging 4th Amendment issues, which is search and seizure. Also complaints alleging lack of service, physical abuse, and inconsistent court testimony. are some of the things that we're working on right now. And I think that's it for me.
Does
So, Chief,
any of the,
over to
does
you.
any commissioner have questions for the investigation division? I'm just going to say, Jeff, I'm anticipating seeing an inconsistent court testimony investigation. I think that will, yeah, I'm just really interested in where that takes CPOC.
Yeah, understood. It's an open investigation right now, and we'll keep monitoring it closely.
For anybody else that has comments or questions about this open investigation, please understand that CPOC does not speak on open investigations. And when the investigation is concluded, we will provide an update on the investigation. Thank you. And with that, I'll turn the meeting back over to the agency.
We could go to our next slide. So now we're going to hear from Outreach and Training Division. So I'm going to turn it over to Director Grich.
Good evening, everyone. Happy to be here. My name is Talia Grimmage. I am the Director of Outreach and Constituent Services. The Outreach and Training Division is tasked with, along with other staff in the office, handling incoming complaints, providing constituent services to city residents who need resources and connection with other services. Often people reach out to us, and when we talk to them, we realize that maybe their concerns don't rise to the level of complaint. And maybe what they need is not filing a complaint against an officer for misconduct, but perhaps they need some assistance with navigating police services or being connected with another city agency. We facilitate community education and training of staff, as well as engaging with the many diverse communities of this city. We create content, manage all of our social media pages for the agency, and we accept and respond to media inquiries. And we are always looking forward to expanding our staff so that we can have a greater impact and make more meaningful connections in the city of Philadelphia. Next slide, please. So I first would like to just acknowledge that June is a big month. This is Pride Month. Pride is a very big deal in Philly. So I just wanted to acknowledge that and say happy Pride to all of us, and especially to the LGBTQIA+ community. And of course, later on this month, we have the celebration of Freedom Day, Juneteenth. We are seeing all over the country how so many states and different people are now responding to Juneteenth and realizing that this is a part of American history, and that these are days that we need to celebrate just like any other holiday. So I don't know if people have plans for this Juneteenth, but the city will be closed. CPOC will be closed. So we hope that you spend that day doing something in remembrance of Freedom Day. Next slide, please. Okay, so we wanted to do something very special for some of the moms in Kensington. And so in honor of Mother's Day, CPOC partnered with Shalom Inc. And shout out to Commissioner Whitehead at Shalom Inc. And the 24th Police District to have a community baby shower. This was the first time we did anything like this. And as you can see from the photographs, it was amazingly attended. We had so many people that came out. We were able to do a spring toiletry drive where we collected donations for new and expectant moms. And we also collected donations to give to some of the clients of the rap court. And so our community baby shower was held at Esperanza Core Center. We have had a couple of things there. It is an amazing facility. They have a gym. They have a fourth floor space that we use for this event and a beautiful terrace. It is just an amazing community space. And so when we are out having these events, we always like to partner with spaces that just are accessible and that everybody knows how to get to. And so we had over 90 plus people register. This was an amazing afternoon. We had some food, fun, fellowship. We played some games. People walked away with some gift cards, and thank you. Shout out to Children's Mission and Elder DeBose. Shout out to Commissioner Solomon oh, I'm drawing a blank right now, but Pastor Carl Day and Culture Changing Christians Church. We got so many donations from our commissioners and from so many people in the community that gave us things. We were able to give away Pampers and bottles and all kinds of things. And so we have some photos here. But I just want to say, thank you to everyone, the CPOC staff, our community partners, the police department. This is what CPOC is all about, just being present in a community in times when things are going well. It doesn't have to be a police shooting or a moment of crisis, although we do respond to those as well. But you have to be present in a community to get to know them and be there so that when crisis things occur, they feel comfortable reaching out to you. So this was a great experience. We had a lot of community partners. I don't know if you can see at the bottom here, these young people kind of jumping in the air. We had some maternal yoga out on the terrace. There were some, it was like a mommy and me yoga class. It was a lot of fun. So I am hopeful that maybe next May we will do this again, maybe in a different location, but this was definitely an event that we all enjoyed. Next slide, please. Okay, now I said it in the beginning, but much like any other year, we were at Pride. So this year, Philly Pride 365. Once again, CPOC was there with our resource table. We were there to provide, resources to the community. Of course, CPOC, we are always known for our awesome swag. I have to tell you, when I'm out in the community, sometimes people at other tables, they come over and they're like, oh, wow, you guys have this, you guys have that. And I'm like, yes, we put effort into it. So yes, we had some amazing new swag to give out to the community. We had a little photo frame and people enjoyed coming up and just taking some pictures. Of course, we passed out some resources. So on the screen here, you see just some tips for police interactions that we gave out to the community, and also an information sheet that just lists some of the protections that the city of Philadelphia has for the LGBTQIA+ community. So we have some photos here. Go to our Instagram or Facebook. We have a few other photos as well. But let me tell you, Pride is something we really enjoy doing. It's good food, seeing everybody in their different outfits. Just a day of love, a day of support. We would not miss it for anything in this world. So we really had a great time at Pride. Next slide, please. Yes. Okay. So often we talk about how we sometimes are contacted by different agencies or groups that may have clientele that has police contact. And so they reach out to us, or we reach out to them, and they request that we come and do complaint intake trainings. And so what this is, we talk to them about what their clients or their constituents can expect if they ever have an incident of alleged police misconduct and want to file a complaint. We walk them through the entire process and let them know this is what happens in the beginning. This is what you can expect at your interview. This is what happens if the allegations are sustained, which means more likely than not the incident has occurred. This is what PBI looks like. This is when you can expect to hear from them, just so that people have a good understanding of what the complaint process is like. And so we recently did a complaint intake training for the Philadelphia Legal Assistance Family Law Unit. And during that discussion, PLA Family Law, they shared a lot of their experiences and thoughts on how PPD responds to domestic violence calls and ways law enforcement and oversight can assist with addressing victims and survivors' complaints and concerns. Next slide, please. We also went back to Roosevelt Middle School. This is something we've done a few times, where we go and we have sort of a youth conversation, a youth chat with them. This is facilitated by our training and outreach manager, MVP, Damon Green. And so he goes to Roosevelt Middle School and talks about the history of policing, racial bias, careers in policing and oversight, as well as just how young people can be positive changes in their community. So we're always grateful for the Roosevelt Middle School for reaching out to us and just giving us the space to just talk to some of their young people. And just a couple hours ago, I was at McPherson Square Library. So they, McPherson Square Library partnered with Impact Services and one of our 2025 Iconic Women recipients, the Old Lady Gang. They are 3 women who are the unofficial supervisors of McPherson Square. They're in Harrogate. And so they wanted to have a Juneteenth event. So it was outside. It was very nice. They had pizza. They had Juneteenth wreaths that they were helping the kids make. They read a story to the young people that came out. They had some tents out there. And so CPOC came just to show our support and to also bring some Black History giveaways to the young people. And we gave away some bookmarks since they were giving everyone some Juneteenth literature. Next slide. Okay, pretty big staple of the outreach unit is our oversight lecture that we give to each recruit class. This lecture was for class 410. You can see them there with our training and outreach manager, Damon. We have a 2-hour lecture that we do with the recruits up at the police academy. And we just talk a little bit. First, we ask them why they chose careers in law enforcement. We talk to them about what they think oversight is before we even go through any, educational information, just to kind of learn from them about how they see us. And then we just dispel some myths, talk about what oversight is, what oversight isn't. And we usually end by watching a portion of a documentary that I've mentioned a couple times in some of our presentations to the commissioners. So I will say that this is something that we should all really be proud of. When we talk to our oversight peers, one thing they always ask about is, how did you get into the police academy? It is something that is not very common. I will say that it started off with 1 hour and now we are up to 2 hours. And so that just speaks to how PPD feels about us, the partnership that we've been able to develop, the fact that the information we give to them is useful and interesting and fun. And so this is something I love talking about, because as I said, when you talk to the oversight professionals, getting in the police academy to talk to recruits is just something everybody would like to do. And Philadelphia has been able to do that. And I will also say, we're in the civilian police academy. We give a lecture to the civilians who go through their own sort of mini version. That has been on hiatus for a little while, but I think they have a class coming up in September. So CPOC will be there to give our presentation, and any commissioner who has an interest in participating in the Civilian Police Academy. We have applications. I've already talked to the corporal that's in charge of it. And so if you want to be involved in it, please let us know, because we can make sure that you are on the roster for this new upcoming class. Next slide, please. Okay, so if you want to catch us, or you want to know what we'll be up to in the future, on June 19th, I stated, it's Juneteenth. The city offices will be closed in honor of Freedom Day. On June 22nd, we will be at the huge Juneteenth celebration in Malcolm X Park. That is on the commissioner calendar. So there's a flyer there. There's the address. So if you have an interest, you want to come out, please join us. We would love to have you. And on June 24th, we're getting a Mandela Washington Fellow this summer, but there will be a welcome reception at Drexel University on the 24th that we will be attending. And of course, on the 26th will be the second monthly commissioner meeting on Zoom. So please stay tuned. There'll be more information coming up about our Mandela Washington Fellow, who will be coming at the end of July. And of course, the big national event, National Night Out, will be forthcoming as well. So there'll be information that we will share about that. And we would love to have your support and attendance at any of these events. So feel free to reach out to us at any time with any questions or ideas or something you hear of happening in your community or your neighborhood. And if it's not happening and you want to put it together, reach out to us. We will help you. And that's it for me. So if anyone has any questions or comments, you can share them now. Otherwise, I'll turn it back over to Tanya.
I have a question, Commissioner Solomon. In this regards to the community events, generally, how is the success of these community events measured?
So I think it's measured in a couple of different ways. You know, sometimes we have community events and we measure it based on attendance. You know, if it's an event we had the previous year, we see if there's been an uptick in attendance. We see if, you know, when people come out and engage with us, if they already know about us. We see if after we have an event, if maybe the next couple of months of complaints, you know, one of the things we ask people is, you know, how did you hear about us? How did you find out about us? So we measure our success in a lot of ways. We also measure success in whether or not we're able to do more events. You know, as we grow, we get more staff. We're definitely able to go to different areas of the city. So I think the success of the outreach team is measured in a few different ways. And of course, we do have our outreach data that we post. If you want to check out our recent annual report, there are some pages that just talk about how many we've done, where we've gone to. We have a map of the city that shows some areas that maybe we still need to get to. And so we can just compare them from, you know, month to month, from year to year, just to see where we've had a larger footprint and where we still need to grow.
Thank you.
I would just say too, I was also at the Philly Pride event, which was really exciting. And so I think it's very important for agencies' leadership to show to our events. So you will rarely see something that I haven't been attending as the executive director, and now that the new deputy will be attending. So for example, I think it's really important for the executive leadership to be at the police academy. I think it's really important for us to be able to let the recruits know that we are cheering on for the success of them during their careers. And so I usually attend all of them, including the one that Damon had a picture of. And when I'm not able to attend, Wari, the deputy, will be attending. And so I think it is a testament that the leadership of the organization prioritizes also going out to our community events because it's very important. And then in terms of Commissioner Solomon, Talia said a lot of things, and also, like she said, our data. So for example, we used to just kind of hear from the recruits about what they wanted from the police department, which is awesome, right? Because that's our job if they want more reality-based training. But I also asked them to start adding a critique of us during our 2-hour session. What are they finding helpful? What are they learning about oversight? What are they doing? So we are continuing to always put in metrics about our own success and work. So I just wanted to let you know that was an example where we've just recently added for all the recruit classes of 2025 and going forward, a survey of how they felt that our presentations went and the things that they want to know. So we're continuing to grow. And I want to put a plug in here. And we're going to be hiring staff. And so one of the staff that we're looking at is a director of data and analytics. And that person is going to really help us figure out how we also measure our success and measure a lot of things in the office. And so for the community members that are out there, if you know of good people, that is posted right now, as well as our investigations team. We're going to be hiring some investigators. So we just are very excited. And so that'll, you know, when we get that person on board that can really help CPOC think about its data and its metrics, you know, Commissioner, hopefully our answers will be even more robust than what we're doing now.
Okay, I believe that is the conclusion of the agency report. So unless there's anything else, our chair informed us that he had to leave a little early tonight. So I'm going to read the community comment colloquy and then turn it over to Commissioner DeBose to handle any public comment and the adjournment of the meeting. Please speak up if anyone needs to address anything else before I do that. Great. So I'll do my best to introduce this as our chair does. This is the community comment colloquy. This provides you instruction on how community comment works, and we read the same speech verbatim every week to ensure consistency. We welcome public comments and feedback. Please address your comments to the chair, or in this case to Commissioner DeBose. If you would like to speak, please provide your full name. We will not be unmuting anonymous participants. If you are a member of the media, please identify yourself as such. You can indicate that you would like to speak by raising your hand or sending a request to the meeting host in the chat. You may also submit public comment through the chat. You will have 3 minutes to address the commissioners. I will keep the time and notify the board when 3 minutes have elapsed. Any documents or follow-up communication can be submitted to cpoc@phila.gov. That's CPOC@phila.gov. Public comment should be limited to the topics covered in this meeting. All public commenters must refrain from offensive language, threats, or harassment. Participants that violate these instructions will be removed from the meeting. While we welcome your public comments and feedback, commissioners may not be able to respond to all of your questions or comments during tonight's meeting. Every attempt will be made to follow up by phone or email after the meeting. You can contact cpoc@phila.gov or call us at 215-685-0891. Thank you. Jody, I will ask you to advise Commissioner DeBose if we have any comments in the Q&A or the chat.
See any hands raised nor anything in the chat. Nope. Now I have Sylvia Metzer ready to go. We're good to go. I can allow her to talk. Is that good?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Go for it.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Sylvia. Please continue.
Okay. Will CPOC have to wait 3 more years to request an additional amount of funding in the budget?
Commissioner DeBose, do you want me to answer that?
Absolutely.
No, the city departments' budgets are reviewed annually, and there's also even an opportunity during mid-year. So the city's fiscal budget is July 1 to June 30th. So every cycle, so for next year, for the fiscal year, departments will be putting in for budget requests. And then even in the middle, so our budget will go into effect in July, and then at the halfway point, which is like July, June, July, like somewhere around October, November, departments have an opportunity to ask for what's called a mid-year transfer. So the budget gets reviewed at least 2 times every year.
I have a follow-up question.
Please continue, Sylvia.
The amount that you were asking for, 730,000, how are you planning to use it, and how will that curtail what you can do since you were not able to acquire that extra amount?
All of our budget requests this year were for staffing. And so it may impact us depending on what goes on. So that additional 730,000 was for about 10 staff that we will have to, now that we don't have that money, I will have to reprioritize some potential positions, et cetera, and move things around in our budget. So as CPOC, we always say that we're resilient and we're going to work with what we have, but it is going to allow some of our departments to not grow as robustly as we would have liked. And so for me to make some different choices about putting people in different divisions.
Is that your only source of funding from the city? Is it possible to get funding from any other source?
The city does allow departments to get grants. And so that's one of the things that we have been doing. We have had a group of staff that are interested in grant writing, and we have sent them to a grant writing class. And so we are hopefully in this coming fiscal year, especially with the assistance of our new Deputy Executive Director, looking for grant opportunities. And that can be a little tricky because some foundations don't want to gift to government agencies. Some foundations only give to nonprofits, which we're not. So government funding is sometimes hard to come about with grants, but we are going to do our best to see if we can find some grant monies to supplement the work that we're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia, for your questions and your continued interest in the well-being of CPOC. Jody, do we have any more questions on board?
I do not see any hands raised nor anything in the chat.
We'll give it a couple of minutes, and while we're waiting, are there any commissioners that have any questions or comments at this time?
No, I don't. This is Commissioner Solomon.
Thank you. If you have a question or comment, feel free to raise your hand.
Commissioner DeBose, can I say one thing?
Please.
While we're waiting to see if there's any other public comment, I do want to let the community know, and our commissioners know this already, is that CPOC is going to be doing some strategic planning. You know, we're very excited. I think that this organization is very strong, but we can be stronger. And so we are going to be doing some strategic planning. We're going to be working with our commissioners, working with our staff and some of our outside partners to help figure out the vision and the future for CPOC. And one thing I didn't say, and I know why, we normally report out on stuff that happens the month before. So you guys heard about what happened in May, but there was something exciting that happened on Monday. And on our 4-year anniversary, the last Tuesday, I believe it was June 5th, City Council pronounced June 9th, which is our anniversary, our 4th-year anniversary, as Citizens Police Oversight Day in the city of Philadelphia. So just this past Monday, it was Citizens Police Oversight Day. So I know I should have waited till next month, but it was so exciting and just happened literally this Monday. And so next year I'm looking forward to our 5-year anniversary. And so we're looking forward to planning ahead and doing some big things as we celebrate the 5th anniversary of CPOC. But I did want the commissioners to know, and we will get you all a copy of the resolution that was written for that day. It was beautiful. And I will make sure that the commissioners get that. And then we actually, if it's not posted, but I'm pretty sure it is because Jody's awesome. It's already on our web pages and our social media. And so I just want to let you all know that the city of Philadelphia celebrated us in our 4 years on Monday.
Thank you, Director McClary. Jody, do we have any other questions from the community?
All is quiet.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the commissioners? Hearing none, on behalf of our interim chair, we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn?
And that was submitted by, was that,
Commissioner Gonzalez?
thank you. Do we have a second?
Commissioner Solomon, I'll second.
It has been properly moved and second that we adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
The ayes have it. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much, and we'll see you the next time.
Good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night.